computer and I didn't use my phone, so it was like echoing back and stuff.
Oh, right. All right. We're live, so you can share that link.
Yep, I'm gonna share it right now.
Try to get some people in here.
Yep. Young boy, father took him.
How we feeling today? How'd you pick them today?
So I picked all right, except Cincinnati was unreal, dude. Like, how did that happen?
That game was crazy. I thought that game was going to be a tie also, but
dude, there was almost 2 ties in the NFL. That was insane.
And they were the same score. It was 20
and it, like,
to 20.
Pissed me off. Yeah, it like made me mad.
That was crazy.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go. There's the playback.
Yeah, there's the echo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Give me 1 second.
But yeah, probably not a lot of people know that I'm a Giants fan. Obviously, I'm rocking the hat.
I would
tonight.
cover that up too.
Yeah, I mean, usually I'm not screaming it from the rooftops that I'm a Giants fan, but what a win for the boys today. Did you see the end of that game?
Wait, the Giants won?
They beat the Titans today.
Oh no! So there goes another pick'em. Damn.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm down 2 pick'ems.
The Giants pretty ballsy too. They were down 7 at the end. They scored with 1.5 minutes left, and they went for 2 to take the lead, and they got it.
Good for them. I mean, well, honestly,
Saquon was gross today.
Oh, he was nasty. So, like, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Saquon. Honestly, he's a baller. Like, the guy is he crushes. But
it's the first time the Giants have won on opening day in like 6 years, I think.
Fuck.
Dude, your clock is the only thing you can see, like outside of your green screen. That's pretty funny.
Give me 1 second.
No problem. What's going on over there?
So I thought I was going to be good, but this thing needs to be plugged in. What's up, Poop?
Wow, Silas, Dolphins fan, huh?
Wow,
I didn't know that. Dolphins gave it to the Pats today.
Oh, they handed it to us hard.
What are we thinking about the Pats this year?
Hold on.
Not great. But welcome everybody. Colby's obviously having some technical difficulties here. Welcome to the Merrimack Minute.
Wow, being a Dolphins fan, good for him. I mean, honestly, Tua's given it to us 3 times straight for no good God reason, which pisses me off. But
I think I saw that Tua's 3-0 against Belichick in his career.
Yep. Yeah, 3-0.
I still think Tua stinks, honestly.
I think he stinks.
Yeah.
Dude, and there was so many times in that game for us. I don't know if you watched the Pats because, like, you're a Giants fan, if that makes a difference to you. But, like our defense at one point, like, McCourty had an interception in his arms to have – it was like 3.5 minutes. And our own defense knocked it away from him. I was like, you got to be shitting me. Like, come on.
No, yeah. We had the 2 TV setup going, so we had the Pats on one and Red Zone on the other.
Red Zone on the other, yep.
And, so I watched most of that Pats game. But just not a lot of life in that team today, I feel like.
No, the offense looked so good in the front end, like right away. And then as soon as that interception happened, which should have had a flag, not going to complain about it, should have had a penalty, whatever. But it's like, why did you not just stick to that game plan? Like, run it down their throat, do the simple passes, and then when it's over the top, take it. Like, and they didn't do that. They, like, kind of stormed away from it. Pissed me off.
I think the Dolphins are actually pretty solid.
They're definitely solid, for sure.
But, the Pats didn't have much today. And then Ralph's a Chiefs fan, it looks like. The Chiefs look
KC
dominant today. Dominant.
Yeah. I was just saying that to one of my buddies. Like, I almost feel like Mahomes has a chip on his shoulder about the fact that, like, people are all talking about how Tyreek left. And it's like, he's just going to be like, I don't care. Like,
no, he can throw to literally anybody.
Watch what I do next. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Any fantasy guys get hurt for you yet?
No one got hurt for me. There was a couple duds, but I was actually I was lucky in one of my leagues. I took Jefferson. I took Jefferson, who lit it up, and then I took Saquon, and then I took Zeke. So, like, those 3 are all in my front lineup, and I'm like, how did you guys let me take all these people? Like, what's
Zeke?
wrong?
I'm not high on Zeke. We'll see how they do tonight.
No, but I'm not high on him either. But I took him in the 3rd round. Like, if he's there in the 3rd, I mean, you got to kind of take Zeke, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I took Kareem Hunt in a couple of my leagues like later on, and he was great today. Cordero Patterson, I had him late. He's on my bench, but he had a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you know who killed me on my bench? Robinson from Jacksonville.
From Jacksonville?
Yeah. So the
James Robinson. Yeah.
James Robinson. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that was brutal because I was like, you know what? I can't start him. I don't know what they're going to do with ETN and all this stuff and like, whatever. And it was totally fine. But all of a sudden it was like, holy shit, you have 20 points, you prick.
Yeah, no, he was really good today. ETN didn't really do much.
Yeah, which is like kind of like showing, right? Like, I wonder what they're going to do with him. But also, if he's on my bench, I can definitely move him, which is a positive.
Silas, I'm on this under 47.5 Zeke rushing. I think Tony Pollard is going to be a beast this year. I think Zeke's going to get a little bit hurt, and I think Tony Pollard's going to be a stud.
I'm telling you, I don't disagree with that, but I couldn't live with myself if I saw Zeke have a solid season and I didn't take him in the third round.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, he's sitting there. Like, it's not often that you get two number one running backs like that. Like, I had to go and grab him. It was what it was.
Yeah, but great to have football. But
it's fantastic. But we are also MSL Live, baby.
Yeah. So what a week in Merrimack. Welcome everyone to the Merrimack Minute. With all the controversy and everything that's been going on, it felt like it was a 2-game week, but we only had 1 game. But
it was a great week.
Tomorrow night should be awesome down at Martell. We're gonna get into it tonight. But the first time, I think, at least that I've been in the league, the first time ever that 3 series go to game 3. Usually there's at least 2 or 3 sweeps. This is the first time we only had 1 sweep. And we got 6 teams playing winner go home tomorrow night. It's going to be awesome down there.
Well, I feel like our season like screamed for that, right? Like,
yep.
The whole middle of our, like, the whole lineup was all at like 500, and not to say like it was like a bad 500. It was like all these teams literally just battle, yep. Like, and just absolute like log flume, like right in the middle. It was awesome.
I think it's again we're gonna recap the games, but I think any of those 6 teams tomorrow night. Yeah, Dugas wants to know which team swept. We'll get into that. Dugas, give us a little bit.
Dugas has a nice cocky chip on his shoulder, and I love everything.
I mean, you guys dominated. You guys dominated. So
Jero was right. Jero called it out. He said, "Listen, that's going to be the one that has 2 run rolls and
2 run rolls." Yeah, he nailed that.
But I can't just say that like in a derogatory way to Holtz, because especially in that first game, Holtz absolutely battled. So it's not like it was like an easy.
That second game was not great.
The second game wasn't the best, but the first game, that was like we actually had to win that game. It wasn't like we had to like we could just lay over.
Right.
But like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. We'll take a look at it. Sorry, continue.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't want to discredit Holtz because especially for like where they came from in the season, for them to even like be out of the toilet bowl, be playing the number 1 team, to like be going through that was they still had fight in them, which is super respectable.
Yeah, totally. And I think they've already started talking a little bit about next year. Like we've said on here before, they got a good core, a good group of players. So, not the best first season for Dearborn as a coach. But you got to think he's got to be happy about the fact that his guys came and battled every night. The team energy and the team kind of morale was good the whole season. That's something that you can build on. It's hard to come in as a first-year coach in this league, especially with the draft and all that stuff. And I'm sure there's a couple of things that Dearborn will take as learning kind of experiences. But again, like you said, they were battling every single night.
Absolutely. And on top of that too, like I've talked about it with Cooch a lot this year, like being the new guy in the league too. Once you start putting like names to faces and stuff like that, the draft all of a sudden, like you feel like a beautiful mind, like things are start to click. Like you're like, oh my God, if I can get this guy in this round, that's going to fit in with this guy in here and here. So like if he has a good core and he really is able to like hold his memory of like who did what throughout the season. Cause like I already know Cooch is like excited for next year's draft because he's like, I know so many more people. And that's like what I did. Like instantly it was like, oh, like Jesus, like once you know like who to take from who was in the league compared to like new people, etc., it just it's way easier to be able to put your team together.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And people gave him advice and gave Cooch advice on some of the guys that they didn't know. But like you said, you got to be able to see it. It's kind of like the eye test. And once you
Absolutely.
put a name to that face next year in the draft, you'll remember back. There was one play that one night. That's when it really clicked. I know who that guy is.
Exactly.
So yeah. So let's dive into it. Again, we don't want to take this to take too long. We'll see how long the disciplinary portion of the podcast will take.
Oh,
but
God.
as Venuti pointed out here, still out in Vegas, still has that profile picture as well. As he pointed out, all the home teams lost on Wednesday night,
which is crazy.
It's crazy. So let's start there with Torromeo and NHI. This is one that we were really worried we weren't going to be able to get in because it gets pretty dark. And that was our last game at Twardowski of the year. Thank God. They were actually able to get that game in I think about 50 minutes.
It was quick. It was really quick. If you watch the streams,
yeah.
If you watch the streams, they had it like the update on theirs as our game was like ending, I think.
Yeah. No, your game still went on for like another 2 or 3 innings, I feel like. Because Tony was the one that called me, and it was barely 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it was quick. It was so fast.
When Tony called me. So
but I think. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was going to say is basically what I've heard about that game. Clearly, very, very low scoring game. NHI just home runs. They hit a bunch of solos. They hit 3 home runs for outs, and they only scored 9 runs.
I heard they hit 5 home runs for 7 runs.
I mean, again, they scored 9 runs. They hit all 5 of their home runs, and they hit 3 for outs. And then I also heard Torromeo, a lot of double plays. I think there was just a lot of double plays in this game in general for both teams.
Yeah, yep, that's what I was going to say too.
Yeah, double plays, and then I forget who it was. Somebody had a big hit to put Torromeo up by 2 towards the end. And then I know Bones ended the game with a home run.
With the home run, yeah. It just, what's so crazy is to think about like the expectations going into this series was it was going to be an absolute burner.
High scoring, yep.
I was expecting like 25, 26 games, like whatever, and we're looking at 9-11. Or the first game was a blowout, and it was like, oh, what the hell's going on here? Like, this is such a dud.
Yeah, I think we know that some of them are going to get a little tense, but in the toilet bowl we saw some higher scores. I feel like the first night, yeah, I mean, you guys have been putting up.
What did we say going into it, right? And going into it, we were like, oh, this is gonna we wanted to see this game. Like, I wish this game could be flexed for this game. Blah blah blah. And it's like, imagine if we flexed it and this is what we got. That'd be a 7-3 NFL game.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
no, that's
cool
a good point.
Win, guys.
That's a good point. But NHI, they got to bounce back tomorrow night. Torromeo, they had to win that game. They can't be too happy about that performance.
No,
only scoring 11, but hey, a win's a win. So yeah, tomorrow night they play at 7:30, the primetime game. Maybe this will finally be kind of the high scoring battle that we've been expecting all series. So that. What better time than game 3 to do that? Anything else on that game?
No, it was the same thing as you said. Like, I heard that there was just like random inning killing double plays and home runs. I heard the same thing. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the statistic, was that 5 home runs led to 7 runs, which is like, you just can't do that.
Yeah, you can't. Moving on, we'll probably be able to get through this one pretty quickly. You guys absolutely put it on, Holtz. A deal 20-1 win. How did they score their 1 run, by the way?
Right in the first inning. They scored it right in the first inning. We threw up a goose egg. Yeah, we threw up a goose egg. They came out. They were able to score 1 run, and then the next inning, we only put up like I think 2 or 3 to take the lead, and then we were able to hold them to a goose egg, and then the very next inning we threw up a couple more, I think. So going into the top of the 4th, I remember it was 5-1, and me and Dustin looked at each other, and I was just like, boys, we got to go. Like, it's time to like seriously like put it on them now. and we lucky enough, like we put up another chunk of runs. And then I think it was really in the 5th inning that we put it on them big time. Because I think we batted around, but we put up
I
like
think
4 or 5.
I want to say you scored maybe like 13 in that inning. I feel like it was a lot.
I think in the 4th inning we batted around. I think we put up 4 or 5, but I think in the 5th inning is when we really put it into them and finished up the rest of the way, which was enough, obviously.
Yeah, because they had to
And
come out and they had to score 5 to keep it going, and they were kind of done at that point.
you know what? It's tough because I knew that they were playing with their bench and everything else, and they had played so hard all season that it's tough to be in that situation and be like, our back's already against the wall, and look at what we're facing. You know what I mean? So to stand up there at the plate and want to put up runs, that's not the ideal position you want to be in. So I applaud my guys in the end of being like, listen, we know who we're going against. We know that we have to, take care of this job and just do it. But I'd also applaud them at the same point. Like I said earlier, there's no reason to not play, right? They're there, show up, you want to do your thing. But I can't just be I can't say that I disagree with the fact that it seemed like they were deflated a little bit in in their situation.
I mean, they were riding super high going into that first game against you guys, and then they were battling, and then I think once you get down 10 in this game, it's kind of like, all right, we've been playing with house money for a little bit. You knew this was going to come to an end at some point. But they kept battling. Hopefully that core that we talked about, hopefully that they come back next year. And like you said, Dearborn are no more guys. Be able to kind of start building the lineup.
Well, what's tough too is that certain things with the bench that they had to play a 4-man, right? That opened up things for the bottom of our lineup to be able to be like, all right, well, now we can go middle. It opens up the infield. Certain hits we're getting through that might not get through in the next round. You know what I mean? So that changes the game. Yep. And so it is what it is.
Yep.
But
so you guys are the only ones that are waiting to go into in the semifinals. So you don't know who you're going to play yet because we reseed. You could play us. You could play
which
NHI.
Is so insane.
Yep. So you guys
insane. Yeah.
You guys get the night off tomorrow night, while the rest of us are going to be battling it out. 7:30 game on last Wednesday. Monahan beat us 13-5. So we were kind of riding super high going into that game. We scored a ton of runs in the toilet bowl. We scored a bunch of runs in that first game. Not a bunch of runs, but we did.
Do you feel that you needed a little humbling?
Not really.
No.
I think already enough we were hyped going into the game. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But still the Teddy injury lingering over it, Venuti being gone. We have the guys,
great.
but Teddy was awesome. But there was just so much uncertainty. Yeah. There was so much uncertainty going into the game about is Teddy actually going to be able to hit? I had to see him hit BP, and he didn't hit a great first round of BP, and then he kind of started figuring it out. But yeah, he was our best hitter with the torn ACL. He was pretty funny to watch, honestly.
You think that's the trick? You think you just got to tear your ACL and all of a sudden you're a stud? It's off.
I don't know. He was just choked up, and he was just painting down balls down the line. He blew one over the left fielder. He was easily our best hitter. But outside of him, Tommy was great on the mound on Wednesday. He got us to hit so many fly balls, and when they're playing a 4-man and we're hitting just fly ball after fly ball,
that's killing you. Yeah,
there's not a lot of gaps there. Billy made some great plays at short. They didn't hit overly well in this game. I think it was 2-2 going into the 5th inning of this game,
something like that. Yeah.
And I was just, we were trying to stay positive, just trying to get something going. They were letting us hang in that game. Then they finally put up 5 or 6, I want to say, in the top of the 5th inning. We came out, we scored 1, and then they scored another 4 or 5. And then
very much felt
we're down 10.
It very much felt like the same way that we played Holtz in the first game. It was like you guys are competing the whole time, and then all of a sudden it was like they did enough. Whereas when you guys didn't capitalize, it deflated you guys just a touch to where they were able to recapitalize again.
I do think we missed an opportunity there because again, we throw up a 5 or 6 spot in
Oh,
one
it's
of
a
those
new
innings
game.
when it's
It's a
5-2,
new game.
like,
Yep.
or when it's 2-2. It's a totally different game if we take a lead there. We just didn't take advantage. Next thing you know, we're down 5. We only score 1. Now we're down 9, and it's like, okay.
And like you said,
We're just not hitting.
In a 4-man where he's getting you to pop up rather than just at least testing the infield, because any hop can happen in that infield. You know what I mean? Like at least doing it in that sense would have been a different way. But I totally agree with what you're saying.
Yep. So we got to bounce back. Obviously, big game 3 for us tomorrow night. We got the 6:30 game, so we'll have the first of the 3 tomorrow night. Again, you never know which way this one's going to go.
No, this one is a complete toss up in my mind.
Yep, but we got to bounce back. We know that. And then the last game, 8:30 on last Wednesday. VIP kind of put it on VFW, 22-12. I was getting home run balls, I feel like, and doing random stuff during this game. So I feel like I didn't actually watch a ton of it. But I know VIP had a couple big innings. VFW just couldn't really string together a lot. I feel like I couldn't string together any big innings.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. It kind of felt like VIP had consistency and VFW had like little chunks to go along with it. Like it wasn't, the momentum always felt like it was VIP's favor the whole time.
Gotcha. Yep.
Even in down innings, like they would come out and I don't know if they ever had a goose egg, but they had soft innings, but it never felt like the swing was in VFW's favor, like throughout the whole game.
Yeah, no, it just didn't feel like they were going to be able to get over that hump. VIP, they were hitting. They hit home runs. They, taking walks. Poisson pitched well. Yeah, that's another
conversation.
That's another conversation. But no, that's going to be a great game. So they got the 8:30 again tomorrow night. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it from Wednesday. In terms of other than the what probably most people are here to listen for. So this is what we got for tomorrow night. So let's preview this really quick and then we'll jump into kind of the other stuff that's been going on. So like I said, we're playing at 6:30. We're the away team against Monahan. NHI is playing Torromeo and VFW plays VIP. We always say that the toilet bowl night is one of the best nights because of how competitive and it's do or die.
This will be the best night.
This is the toilet bowl. This is the toilet bowl on steroids.
Easily.
This is going to be an awesome night. Awesome night. So
TA, when I was talking to TA, and like you said about the subject that we're going to get to, he finished after saying that he was happy about the results of the way the board handled everything, etc. He also, at the way that he finished it, was Monday is going to be absolutely electric at the Tell. That's what he said.
Yep.
That's how he finished it.
Him and I talked Friday, and we were saying the same thing. Like, hopefully, this other shenanigans that's been going on, that's not going to overshadow, how just awesome tomorrow night is going to be.
Yeah, and you know what? I understand the stubborn point of wanting to stick up for your boy, and like I got into it on Facebook doing the same exact thing. My guy was, a victim of, or not a victim at all, but like I was sticking up for my player, right? So like I was stubborn enough to be like, I'm going to step in and I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. They were all doing that for their guy too. And I completely respect that. So like the excitement of all of that being brought into this series and into the rest of a 3-game elimination day at the Tell, I get like you said, it puts the toilet bowl on steroids. It's unreal.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. So let's just get down to it. I think we'll give a little bit of context to kind of what you were just talking about. But obviously, I'm sure most people who have Facebook saw what was it?
You see Silas' comment.
Yeah, I did see that. But yeah, I'm sure
2
most
outs,
people
man on third, Poisson snaps off the ghost runner at second.
I know. We're trying to move on here. Come on.
You gotta give the highlights where they're due. That's a great comment.
I mean, it was obviously a great moment. When Poisson threw it to second base and there was nobody else.
No one there.
Yeah.
Snapped off.
So can we get on with
Yeah, go
the
ahead.
rest of the stuff? All
If you
right,
take
cool.
your Giants hat off, we can get on.
No, absolutely not. So yeah, where do I even begin? So Wednesday night in our game, there was in the second inning, Orlando made the last out of an inning, and as I'm coming off the field, Teddy and Cooley are asking me what color is the stickers for this round of bat testing. So as everybody knows, we test bats in the league 3 times a year before the season, in the middle of the season, and we test before the playoffs.
As
Each
everyone
sticker,
knows, is
yeah,
the highlight of that sentence.
everybody knows. Yep. And we use a different color sticker each time. So that's why Teddy and Cooley were asking me which color sticker is it this time around. I let them know it is a gold sticker. And they showed me the bat and they said, hey, there is no gold sticker on this bat. So Cooley grabbed the bat, looked over to Orlando and said, hey, this doesn't have a sticker. It wasn't tested. I need to take it out of the game. So right there, like that was my first mistake because take a step back. I've been in this league for 10 years now. I've never seen this happen before. I've never seen a bat get used without a sticker that's been called out. I'm sure it's happened, but this is like it was actually found in this case. I've never seen it happen. So we kind of didn't really know what to do. And like that's the time where I'm also like I'm the president and I'm a coach and I'm playing in the outfield. Like it's hard to do all that stuff. And I'm trying to get my team to score more than 2 runs. Like it's hard. So I just didn't really think about it. So the bat's out, but what should have happened is at that moment, the way that the bylaw is if you use a bat in a game that is considered an illegal bat. An illegal bat does not mean shaved, and make sure that people understand that. Nobody is accusing Orlando of altering his bat in any way.
No.
We don't think that there was anything malicious with this. He forgot, whether or not he forgot or didn't think he had to test, whatever. Bottom line is he just didn't test his bat before the playoffs. So what's supposed to happen is the player is supposed to be ejected from the game and the bat is supposed to also be ejected, and the player is supposed to be suspended for 3 more games including the game he's ejected from. So
it should be an immediate 3-game suspension.
Yes. So that's what the rule states. Now, I forgot that. I was wrapped up in the game. Orlando stayed in the game. Everything was fine. 3 innings later, I'm in center field, and I realized that he's using the bat again. And I scream into my team, hey, what's going on? But Monahan was kind of they were kind of rallying that inning. So their music was like super loud. So my guys couldn't hear what I was saying. So I came in off the field and I said to Cooley, hey, what's going on? Why is that bat back in the game? And he said, I was told that it was tested, but somebody put the wrong sticker on it. And I just was like, oh, okay, is what it is. We continue to play the rest of the game. After the game ends, I go and I talk to Vanty, and Vanty says, that's not actually what happened. He didn't test his bat before the playoffs. We brought it in here after it was thrown out of the game. We tested it. It passed. So again, the bat passed. It's a 240 bat. It tested at 250. So Cody and Vanty gave the bat back to TA and said that it could be used in the game. Again, that's another mistake that we made there. That bat should have never been able to come back into the game. So basically then it becomes, all right, what do we do?
But that wasn't the problem. That's not the initial
It's
problem.
not the problem. I mean, again, we made mistakes. There was mistakes that were made, some breaks in the chain, I like to say, where, at the very least, the bat should not have been able to come back into the game. But the bat coming back into the game isn't really the issue here. The issue is more that he didn't test his bat before the game.
It had already gone through a whole game.
Right. And it had already been used an entire game. So a little bit of backstory on this as well. So Orlando did, with 2 games left in the regular season before he was leaving for Cooch's wedding, Orlando did ask, hey, can I get these new bats tested or whatever? And Benny agreed to test the bats and told both TA and he told Orlando, hey, I'll test these bats for you, but you're going to have to get them tested again before the playoffs. And Orlando did not get the bats tested again. So what does that mean for us as a board? Do we want to suspend people? No. Suspending people sucks. We had to do it with TB earlier this year. We have to do it with Jano last year. Every so often it happens. And these are all people, that it's nothing personal with any of them. Like, it's just,
They're
we
our
have
boys.
rules. We have rules. And the only reason to have rules is if you're going to enforce them. Again, we don't think anything malicious was going on here, but we need to think about the future when we make on these types of decisions. And if we allow somebody to just not get their bat tested and then just be like, oh, if I get called out for it, as long as it passes, I'll be fine. We can't set that precedent. So the board, the way this works is we talk about it and then we come to a vote. And what we voted on was that 3 games was too much for a suspension because, again, we made some mistakes as a board as a part of this. But at the end of the day, he didn't get his bat tested. He should have been suspended for 3 under normal circumstances, but we reduced it down to 1. So that's kind of the backstory. I'll let you add anything else that you want to add.
So one thing to me is that, with the bylaws being in place, like realistically, it says that the batter and the bat are ejected from the game, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that didn't happen. And I'm not like putting this on you. I'm not putting this on TA. I'm not putting this on Cooley, like, because no one really handled it at the time. But like realistically, Orlando should have been gone, and that sucks too. Like, I'm not saying like that would have been like the right call, right? Like, because he just kind of fucked up. But I almost feel like if he was ejected at that moment, then this
he might not have been suspended. He might not have been suspended for another game.
Exactly. It would have been like, listen, this was handled on point. This is when it happened. Time served. Listen, let's just put it away. You know what I mean? Like, the bat passed. It is what it is, right? But then it was more of, hey, listen, he didn't get tossed. He used it again. He did this. He did that. It's the ignorance of the situation of where he like he said, like, and that's totally fine saying like, I didn't realize I had to retest, but the guy told you had to retest. So,
right.
And your coach knew that he had to retest. So like, if that's the problem, it does fall on you guys. Like, like you can't, you might not know the speed limit, but if it was posted a mile back and you sped, you fucked up. It is what it is.
Well,
right.
And basically the analogy that I've been using, I probably said it to you, is, I'm driving down the street. My car is past inspection. Actually, the car, like I sold you, like that car hasn't been inspected. You get pulled over, you get a $200 ticket or something. Let's just say $200 ticket. And then you take it right to a car place and it passes inspection. Do you still have to pay the ticket? Yeah. 100%.
You still have to pay that ticket.
You still have just because the bat passed doesn't mean like there aren't still consequences for just not ignoring a rule, basically.
And to my point about the whole thing is like, and I said this at one point, is like the last person that I wanted to have this happen to was Orlando because of how highly he's been talked about in the league. He's been
we talked about him being like a coach and stuff.
Exactly. He's been great in this league. We've talked about asking him to be a coach. We know that he knows all the guys, like he's a well-known player, blah, blah, blah. We just want to hold this to a point of like, we can't let the next guy go when it isn't a legal bat, or a passing bat, I'll say.
For sure.
And that's just going to set a super terrible standard, and it's going to lead down this slippery slope of like, well, now we're leaving it up to a group decision every time, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Totally. And all those things you said about Orlando, like none of those have changed. Like we still feel the exact same way. Like again,
Coot,
I don't think.
Yes, you can.
Yep. And I was going to share this comment. Coot, can they use the bat tomorrow? Yes, you can.
It's
bat
been passed.
Is now legal because it's passed. So yeah, the bat doesn't get thrown out in this situation. But so Orlando will be suspended for game 3 of the series tomorrow. I don't want to suspend people. The situation seems like it was very avoidable. I think a lot of us are going to have some learning experiences out of that. I think, like, go figure, Teddy is the one that spotted it. If me and Teddy were kind of joking around all these different spin zones. If Teddy never tore his ACL, would we have ever noticed? Like
No,
because Teddy
no, we
wouldn't have been
wouldn't have.
catching, and
Yeah.
like so it's like we were saying, oh, it's Coots' fault for tearing Teddy's ACL,
Did
and
you
then
ask? Did you ask Teddy what made him even look at the bat?
he said he saw like a paint chip or something on the bat as he was picking it up, and then as he picked it up, he realized it didn't have a sticker.
Wow,
It's just Teddy being curious, I guess.
that's Teddy, TC.
He's just not
Teddy
used to catching,
Teddy
so
curious.
he's not used to catching, so he like doesn't know what to do with his hands or anything like that. He just grabs the bat.
He's like, I got this bat.
Yeah.
What am I doing
But,
here? That's no, but
yeah.
like, but again, and this is what I've been saying too, is that the ignorance went so far as you played a whole game. I went back and looked at the stream, and you played a whole game. You played
Yep.
game one with the bat.
Could
And
have
then-
tested it after game one.
And you could have tested it again. You could have tested it again. And
Yep.
instead, it was like, well, it's fine now, so I'm good. And I'm just going to let it go. And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, we don't ask for much. We do ask everybody to get their bats tested. It is a pain in the ass. I know that a lot of bats fail for no reason, or they, whatever it is. But realistically, we don't ask for much, and we just want to hold everybody to the same standard. And not for nothing, but like a lot of my players were like saying, I had to wait to get my bat tested when I came off of IR, or I had to wait to get my bat tested because I was away. And it's like, now this guy is mad because he didn't get his bat tested at all, but he was playing with it. It's like, dude, you should have swung something else. You know what I mean? Like, and it's everybody, like we're holding that standard accountable to everybody. And that's the problem.
Yeah. And I think we've heard over the years, a lot of people always, the league has too many rules. The league has all these bylaws. There's too many rules, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, there are a bunch of rules, mostly because of things that kind of have come up over the time. But there really is one rule that everybody knows across the league. There's one rule that everyone knows, is that you got to test your bats.
And there's one thing that I did want to say, because the board took a lot of shit for this.
Yeah, we did.
If the bat was tested in Mass, in a Massachusetts tournament, and they knew that the bats need to be tested in a tournament, no one is going back and giving what the hell's his name? Hickey a hard time. No one's looking back at Hickey and giving him a hard time. Like, oh, really? Dude, like the bat passes. Like you knew it passed. No one's looking at Hickey and giving him a hard time.
I do think,
I
think the situation would have been a lot different. Yeah, if it didn't pass,
the
situation would have been different.
The standard was that you need to test your bat and you need to get it in for playoffs. This is what you got to do, right? We're taking heat as a board in a hard way because it's our boy, one, but two, it's like it's playoffs. Like we're getting intense now. This is when things start heating up, right? And whatever. But if Hickey asked everybody to test their bat at the beginning of the tournament, and you slipped a bat in that got caught without being tested, not one of those guys, not one, is daring enough to look back at Hickey and be like, dude, really? It passed. Not one.
Right.
None of them have the guts or the balls to look at him and say that. But they have the balls to look at the board and be like, oh, well, it did pass.
I just think
you're a bunch of losers, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, that's not what it is. It's like we asked you to do one thing.
I think the Facebook thing I think it was unfortunate, like where it went to. I think, for those who've been in the league for a while, I think you remember there's been some epic Facebook battles back in the day that were like really, really funny to read. This one, I don't think was as much as funny as it was really just like divisive, I guess I would say.
It was, and
it wasn't very constructive or productive. It was just a lot of, throwing shots at people. You don't love to see it. Like I said, and we've all talked about, like, there's so much excitement about this league and the playoffs and how Monday night's going to be awesome. I think that was kind of a black mark on the season a little bit. But is what it is. People got their opinions out, but
I'll 100% say I'm disappointed in myself for getting involved because I hold this league to a super high standard, and I recommend this league to everybody. And there's a reason that I take time off to make sure that I'm a part of, decision making and doing everything else. I let the coaching in me take my player side and and want to defend him and also defend my team and be like, what are you talking about, et cetera, and also defend the board. I took a stand on the board on being like, you're disrespecting me at this point. Like you're calling us clowns, you're doing this, whatever, which I understand them being as players doing that, right? You want to defend your boy. That's your boy. And I completely respect that aspect of it. But we do a lot to not let this league slip away. We want this league to hold a standard. And
right. I think,
and I felt my biggest disappointment was the fact that we were being treated one way when I know that if it was a tournament director and they grabbed a bat and were like, you can't use this, and that guy is gone, they wouldn't bat an eye. But we're looked at as clowns. And like that was super like, what the fuck?
I just think it's just I think it's hard for people to
separate,
to look at just specific situations without trying to compare it to something else that's happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of like, and I actually made this comment to TA the other day. It's really, and this isn't just about the Facebook post, but it's really difficult when situations like this happen. You have two different groups of people, the two different ways that people are looking at it. You have part of the group that's saying, okay, what does this mean for the future? Like, what is our decision looking forward? What does this mean for the future for us? What kind of precedent are we setting? What are we going to allow? Like, what loopholes is this going to create? And then you have these other people that are focused on, well, in 2016, this guy did this. And earlier in the year, this guy did that. And they're just kind of these pulling in opposite directions.
Right.
And then it's like tug of war. And then somewhere in the middle, it's like, all right, well, this is the now, and we have to do something now. You know what I mean? Like we have to make a decision.
Right. And we went down that road earlier in the season with player eligibility and this and that when we were like trying to decipher like, well, what do we do about this? Right. Like, and we didn't want to set the precedent of allowing people to just skate by for certain things or this and that. Right. So like we held a standard and we made sure that it like, all right, we need at least this. We asked for at least this out of bat testing and it was just never done. You know what I mean? Like there was no middle ground to be had. So the middle ground realistically was instead of 3 games, we're giving you 1.
Right.
That to me is the middle ground. That was that's a huge cutback. That's 2 games off that you don't have to worry about.
Right. And that doesn't carry over to next year. And
exactly.
Yeah. I think again, very unfortunate situation. I in a perfect world, this would have just been completely avoided.
If Teddy just never caught, we'd be fine.
Well, I just think, all joking aside, like TA said it's a little bit of oversight by them. I do commend TA for he takes the blame for this. He takes responsibility.
I completely respect TA for taking that. 100%.
I think, it's tough. I'll say this is not a shot at any of the other coaches in the league. I don't know if any of how many other coaches in the league would have taken this as well as TA has. Where TA is looking at it more from a board perspective than as a coach, which is, really what people should be doing on situations like this. And, he's realizing that this is the right thing to do for the league is to hold people accountable, to enforce the rules, or else it's just going to be wild, wild west. And next thing you know, the rules are just kind of suggestions and they're not.
What I think about what I think rules. I love about it is that TA is looking at it as like not like an angle at all, but like he's looking at it as like from the board member spot, like you said, he's thinking in his mind, this is a perfect opportunity to set everything straight.
Yes.
Yes, like this sucks. My player's down. He did, and he defended him. He wanted his guy in. Like it wasn't like he he backed down at all. I'm not saying that at all. He was there for him. He wanted that to be a thing, but he also was very much like, you know what, guys, like. This is what it has to be. But now going forward, we're screening this correctly. Like we're doing this because this is the standard we're going to hold our guys to.
Yeah,
and it's only going to get better. And this is a statement to everybody. Like it is just league softball, but we do this for a reason. And I want everyone to know that the rules are going to be in place. They're going to be adjusted. We're going to like redo them, but just know going forward, like, look them over. If something's wrong in your eyes, just look at it and just know what you can and can't do. And then we're going to figure this out.
I think I said this to you before too. My one spin zone for a positive from all of this is I saw
everybody looked at the rules.
I saw people copying and pasting bylaws into the Facebook comments. And I'm like, finally people are actually reading the rules. Like it
Right,
sucks that
yeah.
it had to be something like this to get people. And I get it. It's not the most entertaining read or anything like that. But I've read the bylaws probably more than anyone else in the league, and even I forgot how that situation should have been handled.
In the
Like,
middle of the season,
I literally wrote these basically, and
in the
I
middle of
forgot
the
how it was supposed to be
season,
handled.
you laughed at me and you go, "Wow, I'm happy you're finally reading the bylaws," because I said I can't wait to throw Andy Lee out of a game when he's wearing his UPS uniform. And that was in the middle of the season, and I've coached for 3 years. You know what I mean? Like I've
Yep.
scanned them, but I never like read them, like whatever, like which is
Yeah.
embarrassing on my part, right? That's wrong. But I
When I
knew,
think, yeah,
but I knew the rules. Test your bat. Make sure
that's
people
the
are
biggest
doing
one.
this, that, or this. You know what I mean? Like, but test your bat's the biggest one. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, so that's why that was the one you just couldn't. We as a board could not let that one scoot.
We just again, and for the Monahan guys that have reached out to me, I told them all the same thing. Basically, it's unfortunate situation. We can't do nothing. The worst thing we could have done here was just given him a freebie, and now it's like, okay, for the rest of in the future now for the rest of the league for
Now
next
everybody
year,
gets one warning.
everyone's going to get a freebie, and then everybody's going to be looking backwards and saying, oh well, what about back in 2022 when Orlando got to a freebie?
But
You know what I mean?
but you know what
So,
sucks too, Jim, is that like so for instance, like Jano, right? Jano took a 1 game suspension, and everybody that was in the whole area knew that
he should not have been ejected
he
from the
didn't even
game.
deserve being ejected, and he never deserved being suspended for a game. But I stood up for him and I said, listen, we all know this is bullshit. But when everyone said, but being ejected is 1 game, I said, you're right, that's 1 game. And that's less than getting your bat tested, right? Like that, dude, he didn't even do anything.
Yeah, no, he
You know
did
what I mean?
nothing,
Like
and that was one of the comments I saw on the Facebook that
it's probably because
I didn't necessarily like the comment that said something about like the league's always gun shy to suspend guys, and said,
which
well,
is not
first of all, like,
true. Just not true.
first of all, it's just not true because we have suspended guys, and second of all, it's like, well, duh, like, why would we want to suspend people? Like,
No shit.
we don't want to do that. That's like the worst. That's one of the worst things that we have to do. Is so like, yeah, we're gonna avoid suspending people as best as we can, but it's not like we haven't been suspending guys.
Yeah, we
like
chose
I said, we
now.
had somebody else suspended earlier in the year. We had, last year when we all agreed that Jano really didn't do anything wrong, but the rule is that he was supposed to be suspended for another game, and we had to uphold it. So I think I don't know anything else to add on this. I think I'm pretty good on it, but
no, that's fine. I'm just thinking in my head, like, right, like Jano got ejected and got suspended a game.
So he was out 2 games. Yeah.
Right. This situation, he's only getting a game, and in the bylaws it says 3. So like
again, I think we did the right thing.
Right. I do too.
I think we handled it right. I think
and I think
again,
and I'm telling you right now, Todd, TA, he completely agrees and he understands, just because of the fact that it's going to set the league to the right standard of what we want out of it.
Yeah. I think the one thing selfishly for me that I hate about the situation the most is now this gives a little bit of extra momentum and like motivation to Monahan for tomorrow night. Like, yeah, that's something that's some bulletin.
They're going to absolutely bury you guys tomorrow.
That's something that is going to get the boys fired up.
Tommy's going to be throwing curveballs that start from like all the way up here, and they're just
yeah. I mean, that should be a great game, but I think they're going to be a little bit more motivated. But yeah, again, the whole Facebook thing was, some of it was kind of funny. Some of it, you sometimes you see comments in there, you're like, all right, I think that guy's joking, but I can't really tell. But hopefully everybody's just down there hanging out, friendly, and good competitive night tomorrow night. I think we're at about 50 minutes. I think we're ready to wrap. So we just got one last thing to do. We gotta pick the winners for tomorrow night.
All right. Let's go.
So let's take a look at this really quick. Pull this back up. So obviously I'll go first. Obviously, I'm going to take us in that game at 6:30. I think, hopefully us as the away team, we get out to another, we got out to another lead in the top of the first. But I'm going to go with us tomorrow night. What about you?
So selfishly, I'm going to say that you win because I want to face you next round. I'd rather
Okay, so
face
that's what you
you.
want. That's what you want. But what do you
Yes.
think is going to happen?
I'm torn. This is a tough one. Without you with having Venuti, and I'm pretty sure this is like a toss-up. I haven't gotten the confirmation that Billy's not going to be there tomorrow.
I highly doubt that Billy's going to miss that game. I know he originally told me he was going to miss it.
I know.
I don't think he's going to miss it, especially now because he's not
he's
happy
fired
about
up.
the
Billy
decision.
is fired up.
I have a hard time seeing him missing this one.
So I texted Billy on Friday and I was like, hey, just so you know, full transparency, I voted and I said that he deserves one game. Like, this is how it's got to go. And he was pissed.
Oh, he's not happy.
Oh, he was so mad. So I want you guys to win, but I'm going to say that Monahan wins tomorrow night.
Okay. Definitely looking forward to this one. 7:30 tomorrow night. NHI Torromeo. Another thing to factor in here that I believe there's a lot of these guys are playing charity golf tomorrow. There's a big golf tournament tomorrow. So
what?
Coach Kyle,
Where?
It's Ruson's brothers tournament tomorrow. I don't know where they're
playing.
So obviously Ruson's in this game. I know KP is playing. I imagine some of those other guys are playing. Coach Kyle, we'll see if he can keep it sober on the course.
This is when he pitches already.
Yeah, I am going to go with NHI though in this game.
I'm going Torromeo.
I think Torromeo just hasn't really clicked in the playoffs, and NHI, if they can hang on to those home runs a little bit better, I think it should be a battle, but I'm going to go NHI, and you're going to take Torromeo.
I like Tornadoes.
Okay.
I took NHI in my original pick, but I really like Torromeo here only because, especially you telling me that, but also I just think that Torromeo kind of has like this like subtle chip on their shoulder. Like, people are talking shit about them for the NHI thing. And like when they lost game 1, it was like whatever. And then like now like they barely beat them game 2. I feel like they have something to prove a little bit. And like I kind of like that about their aspect of it.
Okay. All right. And then we'll wrap it up here. Last game, VFW versus VIP. I'm going to stick my prediction before the playoffs, or going into this round, I should say, was VIP would lose the first and then win the next two. So that's on pace here. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go VIP.
I'm going to go VFW. I'm sticking with VFW. Okay. I chose them. They were missing Sean in center field, which I don't think played a huge difference, but it does make a little bit of a difference to the lineup. And also, it just seemed like they were missing balls in the outfield that I don't think that they will typically miss. Okay. And it's also that just one extra big threat in the middle that I just think that will handle the rest.
Okay.
Benny's been pitching great.
So I think last Wednesday we had the same picks for all 4 games.
And now
tonight, now we're all opposites. So
well, that's good. I like that.
Awesome. All right. Well, Sunday night, I know I'm pretty tired.
Big
night tomorrow at Martell. Big
You're
night.
out with the Coxman.
I was out with the Coxman last night. What a night. But yeah, KP and Gurgle slept on my couch last night.
Yeah, I know KP.
Yeah.
All right, get off live.
big night tomorrow night. Again, thanks everybody for joining and watching us. For those listening to us on Monday morning, big night at the Tell. We'll see everybody down there.